The next title in the Mario Kart series is on the way. Nintendo have just confirmed that there is a dedicated direct just for Mario Kart World on the 17th of April. And it's fair to say people are talking about this, but maybe not for the right reasons. Why is that, you say? Well, the game costs so much freaking money. Here in Europe, it's €80 for a digital copy, and it's €90 for a physical copy. Mario Kart 8 title was only €60 on the Nintendo Switch. You're going up 30 full euros from the next title. It's crazy. So today I want to talk about the pricing, what Nintendo had to say about it, and most importantly, what can Nintendo show on that direct that would prove that this game is worth the money? Spoiler alert, they will never justify that price, but like, what could they possibly do to make it a bit better? Let's start with the obvious, the price. €80 for the base version of Mario Kart. It's not a nice feeling, man. That's pushing it beyond even PlayStation 5 and Xbox. €70 for like big AAA games, aka Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, you know, big games like that. It's costing €10 more. To get a good sense of what everyone's thinking, I wanted to take a look at a Reddit post here, and this is on r/games, and I think the people here really sum it up. I love this subreddit, okay, and I especially love this conversation because for once it's not everyone fighting with each other, it's everyone giving like really good points about why this should not be this price. Switch 2 exclusive Mario Kart World justifies its price tag. Nintendo insists in first comments addressing cost controversy. The other shock that comes from this, I think, is that it's just barely jumped on the €70 price train that everyone else was already doing. So to just jump up €80, isn't it? It's literally just a shock. It's just like, where the frick has this come from? When I first got the news, I was listening to a podcast, I think, while I was cooking dinner, and I got the news saying, oh, it's €80. I literally had to stop for a second and be like, are you joking me? It's like all the joy was sucked out of it. And this is a fantastic point here. And the sting is that Nintendo games hardly drop their price, even after several years. I take out the word hardly. They never do. Especially with their top games, they would have released around 8 years ago now. None of them have dropped. They're all the exact same price what they were at the very beginning. That's very weird to think that, considering like AAA games like Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption 2, Cyberpunk, they're all extremely cheap now. Like, okay, fair enough, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013. That was on sale not that long ago for around €10. To get Grand Theft Auto 5 for €10 is just unfreaking believable. Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm sure, had a really big price cut as well. It's definitely not the usual like €70 or €60, whatever it was when it came out. So yeah, they all dropped down, but Nintendo never did that. Can they really justify that? Like, you're not as good as Grand Theft Auto. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, this one always made me laugh. Fucking Breath of the Wild, which was a Wii U title, mind you, is relaunching on the Switch 2 for 70 US. It's around €80, 75, €80. This is by far the most relevant comment. Justify it all you want. I cannot afford an €80 game on a now likely to be over €500 console in the US due to tariffs. That's not a mark against the quality of the work done on the title. It's the reality that I have no money. I'm not the only one. That was by far the most impactful comment that I've read, and this is what kind of sparked me to make this video. It's so true, but some people just don't have the money. One big question that I want to like give to all of you is this: what counts as justification? Like, what justifies prices for you? So I wanted to delve into this topic a little bit. Like, for me, what justifies prices for games is the amount of runtime I'm getting. How many hours am I legitimately going to put into this game? One thing I really look back on is Call of Duty, especially now that Call of Duty is definitely not as good as what it used to be. Every time I get it, I'm thinking, okay, before I get this, will I put enough hours into this to justify buying it? And to be fair, every Call of Duty they made, I've enjoyed to some degree. I've said to myself, if I can get around like 4 or 5 days of game time into this, that's worth the €70. And so far I'm nearly up to that already, and I've only had it like a month and a bit, so I think it's worth it, you know what I mean? Something like Mario Kart and all that, I've put around 100 hours into Mario Kart, probably more. Was the €60 thing or €50-60 worth it for me? Yeah, of course, definitely. I can honestly sit here and say yes. The thing with me is, a lot of games I buy, I'm gonna put a lot of time into them. I always look back at like Wii games or games that like I still play to this day. Something like Wii Sports Resort. Games came out a decade ago, way more than a decade ago, sorry, close to 2 decades ago now, and I still play them. Like the amount of hours I've sunk into that, and I probably only bought it for like what, €40, maybe less. So that's what justifies for me. What justifies it for you? Is it the amount of hours you put into it? Is it, if you play this game, I'm going to be spending a lot of time with my friends who live in another country maybe? Is it the visual experience? Is it just the immersion? Is it like for your kids? Is it like, oh, I'm going to be really happy that my kids are going to have this, you know? Or is it like, you know, a one-off payment where, okay, I'm only going to buy one game for the Nintendo Switch 2 and that's Mario Kart, and that's all I'm going to play for the next 2 years? You should ask yourself before you go out and buy these things. So another huge question is, like, are we seeing a new trend of inflated pricing of games? Like, is this going to open the door for everyone now to be like, okay, if fucking Mario Kart can do that, Grand Theft Auto 6 will definitely do that. I think some people would definitely argue that Mario Kart 8 still feels fresh. You know, we're still relatively new of coming off the back of the booster pass. Since it's finished, I think it's only just been around a year since they stopped adding tracks into it. So that game still feels fairly fresh. How are they justifying nearly €30 more? Considering like Mario Kart 8 has close to 100 tracks. So how are they going to battle that out? Like, you know what I mean? Of course, obviously Mario Kart 8 didn't like come with all those 100 tracks. Like they obviously had to keep adding stuff in, but like it's a huge game. We're all asking the question, how can you justify this? Well, Nintendo did respond, and here's what they said. I am taking this interview from IGN. He says the pricing reflects the amount of content and value in the game. Bold words, Bill. He emphasized that the new Mario Kart is meant to be the most expansive Mario Kart ever made. Here's the thing, Bill. Talk is cheap, boy. Actions speak louder than words. So this brings me to my next point, which is what the frick are they going to show in that Nintendo Direct that will sway people's minds? Now, I think we can all agree that every like big Nintendo fan is realistically going to pay for the Nintendo Switch. They're going to pay for this no matter what. It's just like, this is just a hobby for them. I'm talking about ordinary people who don't play that many games, and arguably is Nintendo's biggest like money maker is just normal people who have families who just play the game on the weekend, that kind of way. That's most of the consumers, is what I'm going to say. I know there's a lot of fans out there, but like I think normal people completely outweigh like the big Nintendo fans like myself, you know what I mean? So how are they going to get them on board to an 80 to 90 euro game? This Direct needs to be the most amazing thing that has ever happened to a lot of people's lives. What can they possibly show to win back the community and make this price fair? And here's a big spoiler, they can't do that, okay? It's never going to be enough to justify 80 to 90 euros, but what can they do to make it a bit better? I think they need to go way deeper into the map. They need to really give away how big this map is. How big is this shit? This better not be something where you can just drive through the whole thing in about 5 minutes time. It needs to be massive. It needs to be huge. I want to see what kind of new courses they have now. Like they showed off a small bit, but I want to see a lot of tracks, a lot of new tracks, and of course, you know, bring back a few fan favorites. I think that's always a big deal. New is the freaking word, all right? And then add to that a huge roster. Now I think we're already getting a huge roster. I think they've like touched on that, but I hope they were just like scratching the surface. I hope it's like gigantic, like absolutely huge. Outfits, new characters, enemies, just a gigantic thing. For me, what would make this pretty big is that they eventually announce like crossovers like Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I think there's been rumors that that's the direction they're going in, which I think is a good idea. I think that will get a lot of people in to keep playing the game, constantly play, and for me and maybe other people, justify the price. Next up, I want to see a big gameplay innovation. All right, and again, I think they are scraping the surface. A few new items. They have like wall running now, they have grinding, shit like that. They don't have to necessarily reinvent the wheel with Mario Kart, right? Mario Kart is a fun game. They do need to add a lot more shit into it. And once again, this is all saying to justify the price, which they can. Something that, you know, like let's throw out a few ideas here. Maybe they could do something like Mario Maker 3 and have something where you can create your own tracks. So then you have like knockout mode, Grand Prix, battle mode, star mode, maybe throw in like a mission mode, free roam, track builder, stuff like that. Like, I don't know, character customization, you can make your own vehicles, all that kind of stuff. That's what I'd be expecting. Dynamic weather systems, you know, a lot of co-op and stuff like that. I think a very big deal. a very big deal is going to be DLC. I think this will make or break the game. I think if they're keeping it at 80 euros, DLC needs to be free for the entire lifespan. I don't care what anyone says. I think with that price, DLC needs to be free. You cannot make your customers pay for DLC with a price like that. If I think, right, if they kept this game alive for as long as they did with Mario Kart 8 free DLC, I would sit here and say, okay, the 80 euro was worth it. Oh my god, if they start charging DLC, I think that will be the final straw for a lot of people. This is already the final straw. This is going to be the straw that broke the freaking camel's back. And I think the final thing that I need to mention really, and something they have not mentioned at all, is multiplayer. Online multiplayer. There needs to be a gigantic step up from just the normal Mario Kart. I've played a lot of Mario Kart 8. I don't fully think the point system is that good. I think you could have done a lot more with that. Like, of course, playing the game, you get more coins. It builds you up to getting a gold Mario, gold kart, gold wheels, gold glider, whatever. But I think the system is fairly standard. I think you would easily one-up that. Global leaderboards, like ranked matches maybe, online tournaments, get a lot of new events in. Get, like, you know what would be fantastic would be a roadmap. They'd get like the next couple of months into a roadmap and they say, this is what's coming, new characters, new tracks, online tournaments, all new stuff like that. Okay, I think that would be fantastic. Let's just be real here. Another thing they said was you just have to wait for the direct. I'm guessing there's something they have not told us yet. They're hiding something. I think it's probably online. I'm gonna say they're probably gonna bring in some stupid battle pass or something like that. They'll add something gigantic into it. They're not mentioning something. That direct is supposed to be around 30 to 40 minutes. That's how long a direct is. They've got a lot to talk about, like, you know what I mean? So I'm guessing that's what's gonna happen. That's basically what I would want from this direct. That's what I'm hoping for, is a lot of shit like that. A lot of events, roadmaps, way bigger online scene, constant DLC that's free, huge map. Tell us more about free roam. Like they were saying there that, like, oh, there's a load of secrets and stuff like that, collectibles. It's like, all right, but there better be more than that. Again, to justify that price. Let me know what you think. Is there anything they could do to justify that price? Also, what do you want to see from the direct? I will be doing a full analysis of the direct when it comes out on the 17th of April. Ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day. Bye.